camshaft.
In the previous episode we built the gear linkage, and as I've spent quite a bit of my time on my back underneath the car, I might as well continue it, and let's start looking at the exhaust system. This is the exhaust system that I started building for the Mini. Yes, this is the one I built, not the scrap one I took off the car. To all of you who are hoping for a lovely backgas stainless steel exhaust build right now, I am sorry to disappoint, but there are a few reasons why I'm not going to be doing that for the time being. First is, argon gas and stainless steel aren't exactly cheap, and I'm not exactly made of money. Next, due to current global situations, going out and getting the necessary supplies isn't that easy at this minute. And finally, considering what I have planned for this car in the future, the longevity of this exhaust is questionable. This is especially considering that the previous exhaust that was on this car was left somewhere on the Mongolian steppe. I do apologise, Mongolia. As I knew I could not finish this exhaust, like a lot of things on this car for the time being, I only tack welded this joint together, and so the first thing to do is to cut those tack welds out and separate the two halves of the exhaust. Due to changes in the sump design as well, that this downpipe is likely to have to be changed. And finally, this exhaust hanger is going to need to be removed and repositioned, as I know it's not correct. This is the Micros exhaust manifold, and for the time being this is what we're going to use in the exhaust system. Previously here was the Micros catalytic converter. However, due to the age of my Mini, I'm not required to use one, and this catalytic converter would have gone straight through the front bar and the front panel on the Mini. In this configuration it fits. What I have done is create an adapter plate and made it so that it uses a common GM 2-bolt flange to bolt into it. Yes, I realise the exhaust flow from this is not going to be ideal, however this is a stopgap measure until eventually I build a nice tubular set of manifolds and stainless steel exhaust. Also leaves the option of turbo. With the exhaust manifold remounted, it was time to refit the downpipe, and as predicted it didn't fit as it clashed with the sump. To solve this, it needed to be extended by approximately 20mm, and so yet again I had to attack my previous work with an angle grinder. I'll go get some lunch, let it cool down, and fill it to the car. Now that the downpipe's fitted, we need to continue fitting the rest of the exhaust. That's going to require this exhaust hanger that you may have seen in the previous shot. Well, the exhaust is in, but it's not exactly lining up. It's too far over to the driver's side, left as you're looking at it in a minute, and that's causing it to be pushed into the tunnel. So the rear section exhaust has got to come out, and I think an adjustment to this pipe where it joins into the flex link there needs to be made. I don't think it's winning any awards, but one complete exhaust. Next job, fit it to the car. Exhaust is fitted, we can start looking at fitting some of the other parts I have laying around, including starter motor, this engine block to gearbox brace, radiator mounting bracket, and part of the clutch setup. Many moons ago, when I stripped the Micra, I took some measurements of the clutch arm throw, which previously was on here and stuck out in this direction. Now, the Micra's clutch is a cable operated system, which leads us to two problems. One, that requires the clutch arm to be pulled, and second of all, it put this arm right in the position where I want to put the radiator. The Mini is a hydraulic system, so to get around this, I have modified and created this clutch arm with this piece, which will connect into the original Mini's slave cylinder. The awkward shape is to get over this hump in the gearbox, but in order for this to operate and have the room, I've had to sacrifice the water pipe that goes down the back. You may also see that I've built in some adjustments with a slot in this piece, so in case I need to slightly increase or reduce the throw, I can do. The bracket that holds the slave cylinder, which I'm going to fit shortly, I can slot the holes to move it closer to the front, which will reduce the throw, or I can put packers between it and the slave cylinder in order to increase this distance. The only chance I've got to find out when this works is when this all goes back together. So for the time being, we're just going to fit the bracket and the slave cylinder. This is a mini MPI radiator. I know what you're thinking, it looks small. That's because it is, it's from a Mini. However, this radiator is designed to support an engine that produces about 73 brake horsepower. That's more than the approximately 55 that the Nissan CG10 engine is supposed to produce. The more power you make, the more heat you make. So this should be adequate at cooling this level of power. We also have the advantage of an electric fan, which is controlled by the ECU which will run the engine. This radiator, unlike a conventional Mini, also lives at the front down here. It's held in with a bracket that you've just seen me fit, and should be held in place with this guy. The only problem is, this was designed to fit the original engine mounts, which of course we've changed, so this now needs to be made to fit that. Now, you'll have already seen this piece that was made in previous episodes. I did the engine mounts. I also went ahead and made another piece like that, which is a copy of that top piece during the lunch break. So first thing I'm going to do is tack weld this to this, and the position should not have changed compared to that mount, and then check that the radiator still fits within the car. I'm going to end the episode there. The bracket's now too hot to handle, and as you see, the light's starting to go. If you want to keep up to date with the build, then please subscribe to my channel, or you can follow the link to the build thread on the Mini forum. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching.